Just imagine this for a moment. You are looking into the endless black sea of the universe, expecting nothing but silence and emptiness, when suddenly, without warning, a strange light appears from the deepest part of space, a light so unusual, so out of place that even NASA's most advanced instruments almost failed to capture it, and yet there it was, flashing like a heartbeat, disappearing and returning as if it wanted to be seen. And from the very first second, the scientists who detected it knew they were not looking at an ordinary star, planet, or galaxy, because the pattern of this light did not match anything recorded before. It was too precise to be random, too mysterious, to be ignored, and in that moment the question that shook every mind was simple. What is this light? Where is it coming from? And why does it feel like it carries a message? Because the deeper NASA looked, the stranger it became, as the glow seemed to rise from a place beyond the map of known stars. A region so distant and so empty that nothing should have been there. And yet this pulse of brightness came steadily, almost rhythmically, like a code being written in the darkness. And as the data poured in, one unsettling detail became clear. Intervals between the flashes were not only consistent, they were mathematical, repeating in a sequence that mirrored prime numbers, the very foundation of human mathematics. And when the scientists noticed this, silence filled the control room, because prime numbers do not occur naturally in light patterns like this. They are a language, a sign of intelligence. And that realization sent chills across the team. Because if this light was indeed coded, then somewhere, something, or someone was sending a signal across the universe, and for what reason, no one knew. But the closer they studied it, the more bizarre it became, because the light was not constant. In strength, sometimes it dimmed as if whispering, other times it flared so powerfully that instruments overloaded. And in those intense flares, the spectrum showed colors no human eye had ever seen before, wavelengths that bent outside the normal range of physics, as though this was not simply light but something else entirely, something breaking the rules we thought we understood. And as they adjusted their telescopes to follow it, they realized it was not standing still. It was moving, shifting like a living thing, almost weaving through the darkness. And this movement was not random either. It seemed to trace shapes, first a spiral, then a line, then something resembling an eye, staring back at us across billions of miles. And the moment that image appeared, the scientists knew they were staring into a mystery far greater than themselves. Because light should not be alive, it should not draw, it should not communicate, and yet here it was, pulsing with deliberate meaning. And when they overlaid the patterns onto ancient star charts, another shiver went through the room, because the shapes it created matched symbols carved thousands of years ago by ancient civilizations on Earth. Spirals etched into stone, lines pointing to the sky, drawings of eyes watching from the heavens, as if humanity had been warned long ago that something in deep space would one day return its gaze. And now, through NASA's detection, that day had come. But the strangest part was not even the symbols, it was the timing, because this light had not been seen before. It had appeared suddenly, as if it had just switched on, and the very first detection happened not decades ago, not centuries ago, but now in our generation. And the scientists could not ignore the question, why now? Why us? Why here? And what if the universe is alive and chooses the moment to reveal its secrets only when the watchers are ready? And if that is true, then maybe this light is more than just a cosmic accident. Maybe it is the opening of a door, the beginning of something we cannot yet imagine. And as the days went on, the mystery only deepened, because the flashes grew faster, the patterns more complex. And one late night, as the data was processed through advanced algorithms, a shocking discovery was made. The light was not only forming shapes, it was forming words, not in any human language, but in a code so precise it resembled the DNA of life itself. Strands of information repeating like genetic sequences. And the possibility emerged that this was not simply a message but a blueprint, a guide, or perhaps even a seed of something waiting to be born. And suddenly the thought became terrifying. What if the light was not just traveling through space? What if it was alive, carrying inside it the ingredients of creation, searching for a place to land? And if so, could Earth be its destination? And if it reaches us, will it bring knowledge, evolution, or destruction? Because light is energy, and energy can heal or it can burn, it can give life or it can erase it. And as NASA continues to observe it, one undeniable truth becomes clearer. With every passing moment, the universe is not silent, it is speaking. And through this strange glow, it is telling us something we have never heard before. Something waiting in the darkness of deep space, moving closer, closer than we could ever imagine. And the realization that this strange light was moving closer was the single most terrifying and fascinating truth that the scientists could know. Longer hide, because what once appeared as a distant flicker across unimaginable distances was now confirmed to be shifting direction, aligning itself toward our very part of the galaxy. And as the trajectory calculations came in, the silence in NASA's control room grew heavier, because the path of this light was not random. Not a drift across the cosmos, but a deliberate movement, like a traveler choosing its destination. And that destination seemed to be frighteningly near our solar system, as though it had found what it was looking for, as though Earth itself had been chosen. And suddenly the question that everyone feared to ask began to form in whispers: what happens when it arrives? And will humanity be ready to face something that may not just be a signal, but a presence? And while official statements released to the public described it as nothing more than an unusual astronomical event, behind closed doors teams of astrophysicists, linguists, cryptographers, and even experts in ancient civilizations were being quietly gathered, because the code inside the light was growing more advanced, more structured, as if each passing day it was unfolding into a larger design. And what unsettled everyone most was that certain segments of the signal began to repeat not just in prime number sequences, but in patterns eerily similar to brainwave rhythms. Almost like thought, almost like consciousness. And when supercomputers layered these rhythms over the electrical signals of the human brain, the results were beyond chilling. The light's pulses mirrored the same frequencies as dreams, those mysterious states of mind where imagination and reality blur. And this led to the unthinkable question: was the light not only speaking, but dreaming? And if it dreamed, could it be reaching into ours, planting images, guiding thoughts, preparing us for something we cannot yet understand? And reports began to quietly surface of people across the world experiencing the same dream on the same nights. Dreams of standing under a sky filled with spirals of fire, of an enormous eye opening in the heavens, of a voice without words whispering in patterns of light. And while officials denied any connection, the timing was impossible to ignore, because each wave of collective dreams happened on the exact nights when the light flared brightest. And so perhaps what NASA had captured was not just a cosmic anomaly, but a doorway between mind and universe. And if that is true, then the arrival of this light will not simply be an astronomical event. It will be a meeting, a contact maybe, even a test, because if it carries creation within it, then it may demand something from us in return.